Good evening, everyone. I have 6 o'clock on the clock, 6 o'clock on the clock. So I'll go ahead and call us to order. Will everyone please stand for a pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First thing I have on the agenda is the approval of minutes for October 6, 2022. Are there any amendments?
Commissioner Salper, you confirm or let me know if I don't remember this right on number 9 of the Wisconsin conference report. Didn't you recuse yourself for part of that?
I did.
9A about the solar.
I did. I need to make that adjustment. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I just think the minutes should reflect that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. Are there any more amendments? If not, and if there's no objection, that is approved. Next is the approval of requisitions for October 20th, 2022, in the amount of $21,657.64. There's no objection, that is approved. Next is approval of accounts payable for October 13th, 2022, in the amount of $1,534,269.16. There's no objection, that is approved. Next is the approval of accounts payable for October 20th, 2022, in the amount of $43,870.89. There's no objection, that is approved. Next is the approval of manual checks for October 14th, 2022, in the amount of $534,833.78. There's no objection, that is approved. Next is the manual check for October 20th, 2022, in the amount of $40,044.04. There's no objection, that is approved. Next is the approval of payroll for October 14th, 2022, in the amount of $281,151.57. There's no objection, that is approved. Are there any announcements or changes to the agenda? No, sorry, thank you. With that, we'll go into public comment. I will remind everyone you have 2 minutes, and if you're online, please raise your hand. Is it 3? Got it, 3 minutes, sorry, my mistake. 3 minutes, if you're online, please raise your hand. First name on the list I have is Barbara Fuller.
Good evening, my name is Barbara Fuller and I am a Jefferson County resident. I took to heart the resolution that we kept on hearing about for the past couple of months, and it sounded vaguely familiar. So I went back in the records, and it looks as if on November 2nd, 2017, there was a resolution where Jefferson County is a diverse and historically significant community. To be absolutely, there is no miscommunication regarding state and county federal laws. We live in dangerous times where emotions are running high. For some reason, people of hate find themselves free to initiate acts of violence to each other. Whereas racism is the ugliest form of collectivism, which treats people as groups rather than individuals, endowed by our Creator with the inalienable right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Whereas hate cannot find a home in Jefferson County, whether it be KKK, neo-Nazis, or Antifa. Whereas the use of violence and force against individuals, groups of individuals cannot be tolerated. It goes on. This was signed. I noticed that the motion by Mr. Compton was passed with a 3-2 vote, with Commissioners Nolan and Tabb being the only ones that opposed it. Now, I know that Commissioner Tabb is very adamant about doing this new resolution. So my question is, why is this old resolution not good enough that we need to have a new resolution? And why will Ms. Tabb be signing off on it this time? This needs to stop. I mean, we can't be attacking everybody left and right. The attacks on Commissioner Jackson are out of control, although I do notice that they must be losing their stamina because nobody's here today. Maybe it's just a little too cold. But that's really all I have to say, is that I'd really like to see, answers to whether or not we're going to pander to groups just because. Thank you.
Next, I believe David Tabb signed up back there.
David Tabb, lifelong resident taxpayer. On the public comment section, I attended an emergency preparedness meeting yesterday. This group has been in effect for a pretty long time. And it was made aware to them that the volunteer fire company's status is in question and that they may want to write up a whole new emergency plan. And what the scenario would be if that emergency services are no longer in place. And that one of the top people with a volunteer fire company made that notice and actually asked for prayers. It's that bad. The air was sucked out of the room. There was a lot of questions. I even had a few. My question to this county commission is, what is your plan when or if this current plan doesn't work? What are we going to have? The volunteers are not going to be around anymore. You've already really made it bad. They've dedicated their lives, service, money for generations. On presentation 5, Michelle Gordon, Finance Director, it appears that the county FY 22 paperwork has numbers that include $58.2 million with a possible $36.4 million with a $22 million reserve for 2022. You claim you don't have any money? Really? And then from the state auditor's office, there's being asked for $450,000, that's just shy of $500,000 to correct problems within some kind of paperwork. The paperwork is very bad. It's awful. And then there's a check, a copy of a check for $15,000 dated 11/5 of 2021 with no explanation. Then the JCDA, Jefferson County Development Authority, asking for $171,000 to do more development on their projects for Patch Ready. You better ask them about their stormwater permit. That's going to cost a whole lot more than that because they're in violation. Almost every permit in West Virginia, stormwater permit, is in violation. You really need to take a look at that. Y'all have a nice day.
Anybody raise their hand online?
Yes. Stacy Tabb.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Great, thank you. Hi, this is Stacy Tabb from Shepherdstown. I just wanted to give comment tonight regarding the upcoming public hearing for the Harpers Ferry Hilltop House tax incremental financing program that has been presented. There has been already notice put out there that this meeting is going to occur, an article in the paper. It's starting to generate conversation in the community. And so I just wanted to put some thoughts out there. So hopefully at the time of the public hearing, the public might be able to be provided with more answers to questions that are already being generated. But in addition to that, I mean, we know that tourism is not struggling in this area. We know that Harpers Ferry is thriving. The Hilltop House, the old one, while it was dilapidated and sat there vacant for quite a while, I mean, it is very exciting to think of what the future can be there. And it has been a long time in the making, the renovations and the demolition of the old Hilltop House. But all along, it was presented that this is going, how beneficial this is going to be for the area, even more beneficial than what we already have, and how, there will be tax revenue generated. But now we're told that there's the possibility that if this plan doesn't go through to assist them with their infrastructure and their parking garage, up to $25 million, that potentially they won't be able to build this project. What happens when they start taking, if this gets approved and they start taking funds, who begins to pay for that for the couple years before the hotel would be operational? What happens if there's questions now that they're not sure that they have the full funding for the project? If they run out of funding once they start taking money from that bond? A couple years ago, the city of Ranson took out a $10 million loan for infrastructure, the Route 9 sewer project. And in about a year and a half time, they had already accumulated $1.2 million in interest that the city of Charlestown then became responsible for a period of time. And so it's very concerning to wonder about the specifics of this project and how that debt service is going to be paid back. It's said that the county doesn't, from John Stump, who presented this, that the county doesn't have the authority to step in and pay the debt service, and that the county is under no obligation, but yet everything is being put in the county's name. And so that makes the taxpayers feel like this is going to be a burden on our shoulders, and all the impacts and all the extra traffic and people and so forth that would come to this site, that the taxes won't be coming back to us for future improvements as well. There was a question as well in regards to the bonds and rating. I do know, yes. Okay. Well, I just wanted to say that I know that Charlestown is rated, that there was a question about rating and some of those things, but I just hope that the public is able to get some answers to these questions in the future. Thank you.
All right. Is there anyone else in person that'd like to make public comment? All right, with that, public comment is closed. We can move to agenda item number 1. It's the sheriff, but I think he has somebody stepping in tonight.
Good evening, commissioners. Sheriff allowed us an early start to No Shave November. Let's consider that. Animal control currently has 2 vacancies within the department. The sheriff's office would like to fill one of those vacancies with the hiring of Robert Smith Jr. Mr. Smith would be eligible to begin work as early as Monday, October 24th, 2022. This would be an 80-hour position and a starting salary of $38,693. This would fill one of the vacancies, so it's already within the budget.
Well,
Go ahead.
I'll move to approve the hire of Robert Smith for the 80-hour position as an animal control officer beginning October 24th, 2022, at an annual salary of $38,693.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thanks, sir. The Jefferson County Sheriff's Department has received an award of $193,000 from the Governor's Highway Safety Program. This would be for overtime patrols, equipment, and a coordinator. Now, the coordinator has not yet been hired, but it would be for the Region 6 area, of which we are a member. The Jefferson County Sheriff's Department is just asking for acceptance of this award by the president.
I'll move to approve the acceptance of the GHSP grant award and authorize the commission president to sign with associated documents.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
May I approach, sir?
Yeah.
Thanks, sir. Thank you, Commissioner.
Next tab is agenda item number 2, Mr. Russell Bridges.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here in reference to the Records Management and Preservation Board grant request that we would like to submit on behalf of the engineering department. This is something that we did last year and we were approved for. And we have utilized a gentleman, James Kitchen. He has been doing scanning for us and digitizing a lot of the documents within the engineering, zoning, planning, and GIS department to get all of these out of the basement. We have lots of files in the basement we've been working on. The grant application, I had to make a change to it. I got a little overzealous in my original paperwork, and I asked for 15,000, not realizing that 10,000 was the maximum that we were allowed. So I have changed the documentation to reflect that. But the county commission's part of that would be 10% of whatever grant that they would award. And I've asked for $9,750, if that is acceptable to submit this grant request.
I don't see any problem with it. I'll move to approve the RMTV grant application in the amount of
$9,750.
and pass the associated resolution as short.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Mine just goes 1, 2, and then 5.
Yes. Oh. Yes. You know what?
Yeah, I don't have 3 or 4 mine either.
I do.
Next, 4. Next item is agenda item number 3, Ms. Jenny Kaufman.
Good evening, Commissioners.
Even.
It's been a while since I've been here. The national chapter of the American Planning Association for years has declared October as National Community Planning Month. And the West Virginia chapter of that has been essentially non-existent for an extended period of time. We've reactivated it. I've been serving as president for these 2 years. I'm not going to be running for starting in January because we're starting the comp plan, and I didn't think I could do both of those things. But it's been great getting it started, and one of the things that the chapter was encouraging all the members to do was to have the local elected officials declare October as Community Planning Month, and this proclamation was included in your packet. If you have any questions, I took it to the Planning Commission to make sure they were okay with me bringing it forward, and I can read it if you would like me to.
That's fine.
Whereas change is constant and affects all cities, towns, suburbs, counties, boroughs, townships, rural areas, and other places. And whereas community planning and plans can help manage this change in a way that provides better choices for how people work and live. And whereas community planning provides an opportunity for all residents to be meaningfully involved in making choices that determine the future of their community. And whereas the full benefits of planning requires public officials and citizens who understand, support, and demand excellence in planning and plan implementation. And whereas the month of October is designated as National Community Planning Month throughout the United States of America and its territories. And whereas American Planning Association endorses National Community Planning Month as an opportunity to highlight how planning is essential to recovery and how planners can lead communities to equitable, resilient, and long-lasting recovery. And whereas the celebration of the National Community Planning Month gives us the opportunity to publicly recognize the participation and dedication of the members of the Planning Commission and other citizen planners who have contributed their time and expertise to the improvement of Jefferson County of the state of West Virginia. And whereas we recognize the many valuable contributions made by professional community and regional planners of Jefferson County of the state of West Virginia and extend our heartfelt thanks for the continued commitment to public service by these professionals. Now, therefore, let it be resolved, the month of October 2022 is designated as Community Planning Month in Jefferson County of the state of West Virginia in conjunction with the celebration of the National Community Planning Month.
We just want to see if you can get through it.
I did it pretty good without stumbling.
I will move to approve the proclamation as presented by Ms. Jenny Kaufman.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Can I bring it up for you to sign, David?
We'll need a signature.
thank you for leading the group and getting things reorganized through the state.
Very much. And we will be back. The new comprehensive planner starts in 2 weeks. And once he gets his feet on the ground, we'll come and talk to you about a citizens committee, probably in January, to get this started. So looking forward to working with him. Thank you all.
Next tab is agenda item number 4, Amy Gore, Family Court Awareness Month Committee. She online? Okay.
Hello,
Hey.
can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Okay. Hi, my name is Amy Gore. I'm a resident of Jefferson County. I live in Harpers Ferry and have lived in Charlestown as well several years ago. I'm actually asking, sorry, I'm really nervous. Sorry. Public speaking is not my thing. So I am actually asking that there be a proclamation granted that November be Family Court Awareness Month. The month of, and I have a little letter if you don't mind me reading it, so that way I know what to say. The month of November provides an excellent opportunity for all of our cities, counties, and the state of West Virginia to demonstrate its support in recognizing the importance of family court systems that prioritize child safety and acts in the best interest of children. This is an effort organized by Tina Swithin of One Mom's Battle and Sandra Ross of California Protective Parents Association. And they've been joined by the National Family Violence Law Center, the Court Said USA, Tiki's Justice, Caden's Corner Foundation, Kyra Franchetti Foundation, Florida Protective Parents Association, and the Pollock Family Group. All of these organizations are determined to bring awareness to the conservatively estimated 58,000 children a year who are ordered into unsupervised contact with their abusive parents, where hundreds of children have been murdered. In the year 2021, 220 cities and counties, along with 8 states, including Maryland, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Idaho, Illinois, New Hampshire, West Virginia, and Texas, publicly demonstrated their commitment to child safety in the family court system. Mayors, county officials, and governors around the country have pledged their support with these proclamations or resolutions officially declaring the month of November as Family Court Awareness Month. Let's see, our goal for Family Court Awareness Month 2022 is to shine a spotlight on our family court system lacking proper training. Family court professionals should receive training surrounding the topics they rule about every single day, which include domestic violence, child sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, trauma, coercive control, as well as victim and perpetrator behaviors. Many are shocked to discover that most states do not have mandated domestic violence training requirements prior to a judicial officer presiding over family court cases, and ultimately make misguided decisions resulting in the fate of innocent children. So I'm requesting that every city, county, anybody who has authority to do so, that they proclaim November as Family Court Awareness Month in support of raising awareness on this issue.
Thank you. I'll go ahead and move to approve the proclamation to recognize November as Family Court Awareness Month in Jefferson County, West Virginia, and authorize our president, Caleb Huston, to sign the associated document.
Excellent, thank you.
I'll second that. And I just wanted to say thank you, Amy, for bringing this to us, because it's definitely very important, but kind of people don't talk about it that much.
Do we have a proclamation? Do we have, okay. Good.
All right, so it's been moved and seconded. Is there more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. All right, next I have on the agenda is item number 5, Michelle Gordon.
West Virginia State Code 7-5-16 charges the county commission with preparing the financial statements, and they must be submitted to the state by October the 14th. In the packet, I've provided you with the fiscal year 22 financial statements. They have not been audited yet. Typically, our audit is completed by the end of March. You can't remember if the first item is actually the vendor payments listing. That might be the second item. Vendor payments listing is required to be published as well. That shows the amounts that the commission has distributed to all vendors during the fiscal year, as well as all payroll amounts that have been distributed to employees during the fiscal year. Financial statements typically they build from the back forward. So we're going to go to the second to the last page, which is number 23 at the bottom. At the end of fiscal year 22, total tax collected for the general fund was $15.2 million compared to $15 million the prior fiscal year. So it's an increase of about $200,000. Hotel occupancy tax was about $653,000 compared to $454,000 the prior year, which is another $200,000 increase. Other taxes of $1.9 million is about $394,000, higher than it was the prior year at $1.6 million. Other taxes is primarily made up of our property transfer tax. That number will continue to grow every year by $200,000 to $300,000 as a result of the state legislation changes that occurred about 2 years ago, where the state is transferring their property transfer tax to the county over a period of 10 years, 10% per year. Licenses and permits for fiscal year 22 were $747,000 compared to $558,000 the year before. It's about $189,000 increase. Both the property transfer tax and the increases that we received in licenses and permits are also a good indication that the economy is starting to recover since the pandemic occurred. Intergovernmental revenues, federal grant income that we received in fiscal year 22 was $260,000 compared to $3.3 million in fiscal year 21. That's due to the loss of CARES Act revenue and the transfers that we received from the ARPA grant monies in fiscal year 21. It's returned to a more normal grant revenue amount that we typically receive is typically around $250,000 to $300,000. Charges for services were relatively flat for fiscal year 22 when compared to fiscal year 21. Miscellaneous income at $3.7 million is $662,000 higher than it was the prior fiscal year at $3 million. Gambling revenue makes up the majority of our miscellaneous income, and gambling revenue has recovered for fiscal year 22 over the pandemic. Total revenues for fiscal year 22 were $27.6 million compared to $29.1 million the prior fiscal year. So it was a decrease of about $1.5 million, and then it is due completely to the loss of the federal grant revenue that we received in fiscal year 21. Impact fees had collected about $1.0 million in licenses and permits in fiscal year 22. Also, ARPA grant fund is shown there. We collected $5.5 million in our second tranche of our drawdown. Other non-major governmental funds includes ambulance fees, and that makes up the bulk of our charges for services at $1.2 million. Let's see. The miscellaneous income of $1.6 million is primarily made up of farmland protection funds that we receive from property transfers. Overall, total revenues received in all total governmental funds was $38.7 million compared to $41.8 million, and that is a $3.1 million decrease as a result of reductions that we received in grant revenue for the current fiscal year. I'm sorry, for that fiscal year. Expenditures by expenditure type for general government. In the general fund, total expenditures were $11.9 million compared to $12.3 million the prior fiscal year. It's a decrease of about $390,000. Public safety Expenditures were $10.9 million compared to $11.4 million the prior fiscal year. It's also a decrease of about $422,000. Culture and recreation was $1.4 million compared to $1.9 million the prior fiscal year, and that is a decrease of about $533,000. Other non-major governmental funds, $1.8 million in general government funds is made up primarily of $1.5 million in transfers to expenditures for farmland protection and $170,000 for the Day Report Center. The $1.6 million in public safety is primarily made up of transfers to the ESA of $1.1 million. The rest of it is made up of expenditures for home confinement, concealed carry, and forfeiture funds. ARPA funds, we had expenditures for the general government of $345,000, and then the rest of it is primarily related to the ESA project for $405,000. And then the $442,000 for capital outlay is also related to the EMS project. The excess of revenues over expenditures for fiscal year 22 was $8.6 million for all governmental funds. For the general fund, it was $3.2 million. Other financing sources and uses is where we categorize our transfers in and transfers out, or transfers between funds. The general fund transferred out $4.6 million to other funds, and that all went to the capital outlay fund. The other non-major governmental funds transferred out $852,000 to the general fund, and the majority of that is made up of assessor's valuation reimbursement for salaries and wages. Other amounts are reimbursements to the general fund from the ambulance fee fund, magistrate court, and dog and kennel fund. Ending fund balance at the end of fiscal year 22 was $7.2 million. For all governmental funds, it was $42.6 million. We could skip forward 2 more pages. We'll go over the balance sheet. The reconciliation sheets are the pages in between that and the pages behind it, and that's where we convert our balance sheet and our revenue, our income statement to governmental-wide financial statements that will overlap. For our balance sheet, cash and cash equivalents at the end of fiscal year 22 in the general fund were $6.9 million compared to $7.1 million the prior fiscal year. It's a decrease of about $203,000. Total cash and cash equivalents for all governmental funds was $21.2 million compared to $20.3 million the prior fiscal year. So it's an increase of $3.9 million. And the majority of that is in our capital outlay fund based on the transfers that we made during the fiscal year. We do have restricted cash amounts in our impact fee funds of $9.5 million, and we have restricted cash of $8.9 million in the ARPA grant fund, giving us total restricted cash of $18.4 million. And when you add that to the $24.2 million in cash and cash equivalents, we have an increase in total cash of $9.8 million, and that is all due to our ARPA grant funds that we received, primarily to the ARPA grant funds that we received during the fiscal year. Taxes receivable at the end of the fiscal year were $670,000. Accounts receivable in other non-major governmental funds are the accounts receivable related to our ambulance fee billings that we process. Liabilities at the end of fiscal year 22, we had $1.6 million in accounts payable for all governmental funds, $700,000 in the general fund, $513,000 in the ARPA grant fund, and $500,000 relates to the purchases that we made from the volunteers for equipment. Although we approved the expenditures in June, the checks didn't actually go out until July, so that's why those are still showing as an accounts payable. Total liabilities at the end of fiscal year 22 were about $2 million compared to $1.2 million the prior fiscal year. It's an increase of about $800,000, and it's due in large part to the ARPA grant expenditures that didn't get cut until July. At the end of fiscal year 22 for all funds, again, we had ending fund balance of $42.6 million. We have non-spendable funds of $222,000, restricted funds of $19.6 million, committed funds of $15.9 million, and assigned funds of $3.9 million. Unassigned fund balance, $2.9 million. As part of the health of the county, we like to look at fund balance as a percent of operating expenditures. So fund balance for the general fund was 7.165 million at the end of fiscal year 22. And that as a percent of total operating expenditures at the end of fiscal year 22, which were 24.3 million, is 29.4%. That gives us about 3.5 months of operating expenditures in reserve. We're required by state code to maintain a minimum fund balance of 10%, which allows for, state code also allows for transfers to a financial stabilization fund. County policy requires that our fund balance minimum stay between 16.67% and 20%, or 2 to 2.4 months of reserve in our fund balance to ensure that we have funding available should we experience a major decrease or in revenue or some sort of major expenditure during the year. After I do the converting entries, now I'm going to take you to the first page. To convert it into a format that complies with the Governmental Accounting Standards Board, I need to do converting entries to add our fixed assets and to record our liabilities for net pension liability, for other post-employment benefits, and for compensated absences payable. So I'm going to go over just those portions that we've already gone over in detail, the asset portion. We're also required to include our component units, which are the Board of Health, Development Authority, Historic Landmarks Commission, Farmland Protection, Emergency Services, and Parks and Recreation. So those first two pages also include revenue and expenditures, as well as balance sheet information for those component units. Towards the top of the page, the capital assets for fiscal year 22. Let's see. We had $1.2 million in additions to our capital assets. $475,000 were actual vehicle and equipment purchases. We had $38,000 for accident reconstruction software, $19,000 for high density mobile file track system that actually received $10,000 in grant funding. We had $76,000 in purchases for 3 vehicles for the assessor, the maintenance department, and engineering. $288,000 to purchase 6 vehicles for the sheriff's office plus equipment. We purchased Ford Explorers, a Dodge Ram pickup truck, and a used Ford Explorer. We had $29,000 to purchase a Ford Explorer for the 911 center and $25,000 to purchase a Chevy Colorado pickup truck for the animal control department. So that's $475,000. The remainder of the additions is $743,000 for work in progress, which includes $443,000 for the ESA project, for the equipment where the checks didn't go out until July. We have those listed on the books. We didn't take possession of them until July, but that's why they're listed as work in progress instead of an actual equipment asset. We had $143,000 in work in progress for the downtown data center, $145,000 in work in progress for 911 Motorola phone system, and then $12,000 in prepaid assets for sheriff's department equipment for fiscal year 23 vehicle purchases. Deferred outflows and inflows of assets and liabilities are any part of the pension expense or income that is not recognized in the financial statements or as an expense or income in the current year. And so it's recorded as a deferred outflow or deferred inflow so that it's actually recorded in the year that it will occur. Deferred outflows of resources for the primary government, for the general fund, for Jefferson County is pretty flat at $2.9 million compared to $2.6 million from the prior year. Down in the liability section, the amounts that I added during the conversion process were our net OPEB liability or other post-employment benefits liability. That is a declining benefit. It was discontinued a number of years ago. So employees, participating employees are grandfathered into it. So as employees retire and then pass away, that liability will continue to decline. So our liability last year was $1.7 million. It's down about $24,000 to $1.6 million for fiscal year 22. Our net pension liability actually had a pretty big swing this year. Last year, we had a net pension liability of $4 million, and we currently have a $4.6 million net pension asset this year. That liability is calculated by the state. It's not something that I calculated. It's calculated through an actuarial valuation, and it's based on a number of factors, including inflation rate. They look at the number of participants. They look at when people are going to retire, who's retiring, and the annuities that are being paid out. So that number for some, it fluctuates wildly every year. Compensated absences payable. Last year, we had a balance, a liability of $1 million. That has decreased by $200,000 to $801,000 for fiscal year 22. If you recall, during the pandemic, we had a number of employees who were not able to actually spend down their leave balances, and we gave permission for them to carry those balances forward. We did work hard on getting those balances spent down. That's why the liability decreased significantly in fiscal year 22. Typically, it stays pretty flat, but this year we did have a pretty significant decrease. Total net position at the end of fiscal year 22 was $58.2 million. That includes all of our assets as well as deferred outflows for net pension liabilities. That's an increase over the prior year. Prior year was $47.6 million, so it's a $10.6 million increase. The increase is due primarily to the cash that we received from the ARPA grant fund and transfers to the capital outlay fund. So the increase is primarily due to increases in our cash balances. That's everything I have for the financial statements. So I have any questions about those? The next two budget revisions relate to the financial statements. As part of state code, we're required to ensure that the beginning fund balance for the current fiscal year is exactly the same as the ending fund balance for the prior fiscal year. So the first budget revision I have for the general fund is budget revision number 2. It's made up of 3 components. The first component is to record an adjustment for fiscal year 23's beginning fund balance so that it agrees with fiscal year 22's ending balance. So it's an increase of $450,493 to our transfers to the capital outlay fund as well as our beginning fund balance. The second portion is to record an adjustment to transfer funds from Department 424 to Department 717, which is from maintenance department to our central garage department. If you recall, we did approve the lateral transfer of an employee from maintenance to central garage, and he was actually making more than the base minimum, so we didn't decrease his salary, but we did not have enough funds available in 717. So to keep it budget neutral, we're transferring funds from that department over to 717. And then the last portion of it is to record an adjustment for the consultant services that was approved on July the 8th in a special session of $40,000 to increase the professional services in the county commissions line item and decrease transfers to the capital outlay fund. Do you have any questions about that budget revision? And then the second budget revision is for the coal severance fund. First portion of that is to adjust the beginning fund balance. We're actually decreasing it by $1,600 to reflect the ending fund balance for fiscal year 22. Second portion of that, on July the 1st, 2021, I believe we approved a LEDA grant match. That grant was actually approved during fiscal year 21. However, we have not transferred the funds for our grant match portion to Parks and Rec. So I need to move that budget forward into fiscal year 22. The third portion, on July the 21st of 2022, we approved $8,850 for AED funding for the AEDs that the sheriff's office received, and this is for the maintenance and service agreement for the first year. The last portion is $65,000. That was approved on August the 18th for the Development Authority for engineering services. The rest of their request was approved from ARPA grant funding as well as the methane coal methane fund. So this is for the coal severance fund portion of that. If I have any questions about any of those budget revisions.
You need three separate motions.
Yes, 3 separate motions.
Okay, I'll start off, I'll move a motion to approve the FY 22 financial statements.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I'll move to accept the, move a motion to accept the FY 23 state budget revision 2 for the general fund.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve and accept the FY 23 budget revision 2 for the coal severance fund.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job. Lots of details.
Next I have is item number 6, Mr. Roger Goodwin.
My item is related to the Hilltop House Hotel project. On September 29th, 2021, the County Commission entered into an intergovernmental agreement with the West Virginia Department of Economic Development to provide generally the following services for the Hilltop House Hotel Tourism Development District project. Building permit application and building plans review and building inspections, and land development site plan application and plans review and inspections for compliance with Jefferson County land development regulations. The original scope of services agreement is attached along with the contract extension letter that Department of Economic Development sent to us, wanting to extend the scope of services another year to September 29th, 2023. And I have a motion there asking to authorize the county administrator to execute that letter.
So just so I want to make sure I'm understanding, that you provided no services yet. The project's been delayed, is that correct? Or have you done a little bit and there's a lot more to do?
We have provided services. So far, we took into permit applications to replace roofs on 2 dwelling structures there with metal roofs. And with that, the state historical department has been reviewing all that stuff.
Okay.
And then they got a demolition permit to demolish the hotel, and that's done. And when we initially met with them a year ago, they indicated that their timeline was to be breaking ground on the hotel this past March. I just, in the last month or so, got a timeline from them that, in looking at everything that's going to transpire, that they plan to have all their approvals with us or outside agencies that they need to have by April, May 2023. So I don't see them breaking ground until then, like a year later. And so this will extend it to September, and if they break ground then we're probably going to do another extension.
Right. Yeah, I was just curious, and I know not only just getting all the approvals necessary, then there's the supply chain issue and all that good stuff.
I reviewed the document and I find it to be acceptable.
Thank you. And Roger, thank you for taking this on. It's a great help, and I know the West Virginia State Department of Economic Development appreciates it too.
Great.
So I'll move to authorize the county administrator to execute the contract extension letter for the Jefferson County Hilltop House Hotel Tourism Development District project.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Was there an update on item number 8?
No, not at this time. I think next meeting, Director Murray will have one.
And did you want to move to your reports or did you want to go to Nathan?
How much do you have, Nathan? Because I kicked everybody out of the room, I want to make sure everything,
I suggest that we go on to John's report, so he could do that.
that'd be fine. That's sure. County Administrator, we're going to talk about the E911 salary adjustments, so Michelle and Kirsten Polsky. So we're going to bring to you today a proposal. We actually have a lot of proposals on this list. We've been taking a hard look at the E911 center I've been over the last 6 or 7 months, looking at right sizing the staff complement out there, the attrition rates, the organizational structure, and we came up with a plan, a comprehensive plan that would incentivize new employees coming in, incentivize current employees to stay. Just want to start off by saying that, according to the National Emergency Number Association, it's called MENA. Studies have shown that 911 dispatch departments are seeing across the nation a 15 to 20% rate of staff turnover. So it's not just here, it's a national thing. A lot of that is due to high levels of burnout with the job, which is more than double with what the national industry is saying right now. So the high burnout level is prevalent. It's not just here, it's everywhere. Also with the advance of the next generation 911 that we've got coming online probably a year and a half. Yeah, not sure. The need for more experienced dispatchers is paramount to the success of the department. So looking at those, I'm just going to go ahead and turn this over to Michelle and Jeff for the presentation.
Okay. The department currently has, I need to correct some of those numbers there. It currently has 19 approved dispatcher positions plus 4 public safety supervisor positions for a total of 23. There are currently 10 positions filled and 4 supervisor positions filled for a total of 14. We have 9 vacant positions. We do have 1 applicant pending a salary proposal, so we do have 1 pending. In order to fund the following initiatives, staff would recommend the elimination of 3 of the permanent full-time positions to create savings of $135,000. The total cost for the initiatives is estimated to be $109,000, so it would create savings of $26,000. The first initiative that we would like consideration for would be consideration of an employee promotion. The current administrative assistant was hired on July the 10th, 2017. She is now performing duties at a level commensurate with an administrative assistant 2. Elizabeth Dutko, her current salary is $40,927. It's recommended that she be promoted to an administrative assistant 2 with a new annual salary of $47,066. It's a 15% increase for a total of $4,476 in fiscal year 23. The department has experienced significant turnover of dispatchers in the last 3 to 5 years. We just wanted to give you some detail about why we're experiencing turnover. During the last year, we had we lost 5 dispatchers. 3 of them moved out of the area. One of them left, she had a baby, so she decided she wanted to stay home and take care of her family. And then we had 1 who actually changed careers to the school system. So that's the reason we lost 5 in the last year. The year before, we lost 10 dispatchers. 2 of them retired, 3 of them left for higher pay, 1 left for a new career, and 1 of them passed away. And then we had another who left for medical reasons, and 1 left for other reasons. So the problem that we're experiencing right now is we're not able to attract new employees. We're not able to attract applicants because our starting salary isn't commensurate with surrounding jurisdictions.
To ensure that a department is able to provide adequate staffing and promote retention of those qualified employees that we've trained, staff would like to recommend the approval of the following initiatives. We'd like you to consider for dispatchers and supervisors, because they're kind of connected. We can't upgrade dispatchers without also upgrading supervisors and trainers. We're requesting that you give approval to upgrade dispatchers by 1 grade. So dispatchers are currently a grade 4 with a starting salary of $38,693. We did perform a salary analysis of surrounding jurisdictions, and we recommend that the dispatcher position be upgraded to a grade 5. Staff also recommends that existing employees receive a minimum increase of 9.5% due to the position upgrade. The total cost in fiscal year 23 for this portion of the upgrade would be $58,941. We currently have 10 dispatchers who will be upgraded, and I do have a list of all of their names and their beginning and proposed salaries that we can distribute. For the supervisors or trainers who are currently a grade 5, staff is recommending that we upgrade them to a grade 6. The starting annual salary for grade 5 is $45,038. Starting salary for grade 6 is $52,158, and we recommend that existing employees receive a minimum increase of 7.5% due to the position upgrade. Total cost of fiscal year 23 for those 5 employees would be $16,272. Now, the salary comparison that I was able to provide for you shows that dispatchers in the city of Frederick earn a minimum of $51,160 for a level 1. In Loudoun County, they earn $55,480. Washington County, they start at $42,556. In Berkeley County, although they start at $40,310, those employees just received a 15% increase that was retroactive to July the 1st. So those employees are currently making $46,357. Employees for the city of Martinsburg earn $33,696. And then right now, Jefferson County dispatchers currently at a grade 4 earn $38,693. So we're recommending that a grade 5 at $45,038. It's kind of in the middle. It's not as high as Frederick or Loudoun County, but it's a little more commensurate with Berkeley County and Washington County. The deputy director position. The deputy director position is currently vacant. This position requires a candidate that would have strong interpersonal and technical skills needed to fill the lead role of the 911 Communications Center director. This position also serves as the interim director of the communications during his absence and provides succession planning for this critical public safety role. In order to attract a highly skilled and qualified candidate based on the proposed upgrades for the dispatchers and supervisors, staff is recommending that we upgrade this position from a grade 7, which has a starting salary of just $59,066, to a grade 8, which has a starting annual salary of $72,724. This position is currently budgeted in fiscal year 23 at an annual salary of $70,885 based on the person who just left. And to attract highly skilled candidate, staff recommends increasing the available budget for this position to $83,633. That would have a total cost of $9,294. The fourth portion that we would like you to consider would be consideration of a shift differential. As you know, our 911 center is required to be manned 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Similar to the shift differential that we recently approved for the sheriff's office, staff is recommending a 25-cent per hour shift differential for employees working the evening and midnight shifts. The total estimated cost for this initiative is $4,790. Similar to the sheriff's office, staff is also recommending that we implement a signing bonus so that we can try to attract qualified and skilled candidates and to retain those candidates. So staff is recommending implementing a signing bonus of $2,000 that would be paid after successful completion of the initial dispatcher academy, which is about 5 to 8 weeks. The signing bonus would also contain the stipulation that if the employee does not complete 2 years of full-time service after completion of the academy, the bonus would need to be repaid in full if those terms are not satisfied. The signing bonus would only be eligible offered to full-time employees, and the employees would need to complete 2 full years of full-time employment. We do often have employees go from full-time to part-time and part-time to full-time, so that would then make them have to repay it. So we want to make, we're trying to retain those full-time employees. The total estimated cost for this initiative is $13,998. The last portion of the initiative would be to consider a referral bonus to entice existing employees to promote employment here at the county. Staff is recommending that we implement a referral bonus of $200. Employees who successfully refer a candidate and the employee is hired, employees would receive the bonus after the referred employees successfully complete their initial dispatcher training academy, which is at 5 to 8 weeks. And the total cost for this initiative is estimated to be about $1,400. In your packet, I did provide you with all of the supporting documentation that I received or that I downloaded from the surrounding jurisdictions for the salary comparison, so that you have that information as well. So at this point, I will open it up to questions, comments, and concerns, and potential motions.
I've got a lot.
I got an easy one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are we going to keep the overfill policy with this?
I think in the short term, we definitely would need to still keep the overfill policy, simply because they're down by 9 positions. So even creating these changes and eliminating 3, they're still down by 6.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
So we haven't budgeted for those overfills, correct?
No, we don't budget for those overfills because they typically have vacancies every year.
Yeah, I guess my biggest concern, well, there's quite a few. So one is why this potentially wasn't considered during budget season.
During the budget season, I wasn't really here full-time, and the county administrator was new. So we weren't able to talk with the department to make sure that we had all of his requests there. And things have
No, I mean, I can answer that question. I wasn't here during the budget process, and so in my role as county administrator, it's been very busy over the last 7 or 8 months because of the ambulance stuff. So digging into E911 center has been my goal over the last 2 or 3 months, and looking at the numbers and right sizing the staff complement. This would have been the recommendations I would have made that back during the budget season. I don't think after we looked at everything in the work program and the workload, we don't need all those dispatcher positions, and that's why I want to give 3 back. I want to take 3 of those positions and put them back into the,
Right.
surrender those positions.
Yeah, and other things that have changed since the budget have occurred have been the number of increases that surrounding jurisdictions, the amount of increases that surrounding jurisdictions have given to their employees that we have not given to our employees. And the pandemic created a huge need for public safety employees, and all public safety positions are struggling to attract employees into those positions. So I really feel like it's also a part of the blowback from the pandemic and COVID, because during the pandemic, our 911 dispatchers, they were here every day. They worked every day. They could not stay at home. And they also followed reduced guidelines. So if they did test positive for COVID or have symptoms, they still had to work. If they were having mild symptoms or weren't showing any symptoms, they still had to work. So our 911 dispatchers really took on the brunt of the workload during the pandemic, in addition to our EMS staff.
Well, so on that, I guess kind of one question I had is, like you mentioned, I keep seeing in the paper about Berkeley County raising all their pay for sheriffs, for everything across the board. I'm kind of the mindset that I want to make sure that we're competitive with Berkeley County so that we're at the same or better than they are. And so I know I didn't write down the number. You said it was, they just raised it to 46.
Right, so
46, 347, so we're not quite where they are. We're a little bit, with this proposal, we're about
1,000 left.
under the county, but we felt that was a good enough lift that we could incentivize people to stay. A lot of our dispatchers live in Berkeley County and drive to Jefferson County. So for them to make that much more money to stay in Berkeley County is an issue for us. We really need to. And then Loudoun County,
Yes.
we're never gonna be able to compete with Loudoun County. They have more money than Concord. So if they go to Loudoun County, we've lost them. But, a lot of people like to work and live and work in the county that they live in. And so that's what we're trying.
And based on the reasons for employees leaving, we're not really seeing employees leaving for the work environment. They're leaving because they're either moving out of the area, they're retiring, or they want better pay. And our problem right now is that we can't attract applicants because our pay is not comparable to other counties.
We had one employee just left recently, he's going to work for Amazon, probably for just as much. And, this is a person that's highly skilled, trained her up, had her in the dispatch center for a couple of years, and, she could work more normal hours and make just as much, maybe more money.
Yeah, I have, also have a concern. I mean, we've been talking about reorganization of the E911 center for well over a year. In fact, we set ARPA funds aside for potentially reorganization with that for an individual role for a CAD administrator, potentially freeing up some payroll funds to support things like this. I just really have a big concern on reducing or eliminating 3 dispatcher positions, particularly with the transition of EMS response times right now. Dispatch plays a big role in response times. I just don't think we can afford to eliminate 3 positions right now. I think we need to continue to assess that reorg and figure out how we can do that without eliminating those positions.
Well, if you look at the number of vacant positions that we've had over the last 5 to 7 years, we've been down 5 or more positions every year. And we've been operating with those vacancies every year the entire time.
Yeah, I'm just saying that we set funds aside from ARPA that could potentially free up payroll dollars if we move forward with the reorg we've been talking about for about a year, versus eliminating 3 dispatch positions to do that.
We need to correct staff.
But I was gonna say, there's an element of, they're vacant seats now, so it's just money that ends up going to the capital outlet. the way it is now.
Yeah, we just, we looked at the work program, we looked at the call volume, we looked at a lot of different factors when we analyzed this, and we feel like eliminating 3 dispatchers, we're okay. I don't think, we haven't hired, we've been sitting on laps for a long time over there. So I understand what you're saying, but we did dig in, I did dig into this pretty deep. So, we want to eliminate 3 positions, move ahead with these increases, and we're still going to put $26,000 back on the table. So it's better than cost neutral. We're actually putting some money back.
Our existing employees are suffering from extreme burnout right now. And if one person calls out sick, it impacts, a lot of people.
I guess that's my point. I'm not comfortable eliminating 3 positions because of burnout and because of.
We're already down 9 positions. We have 9 vacant positions. And if we're able to start attracting people, we could increase that total position count from 10 to 15 or 16 instead of just 10. Right now we have 10 dispatchers and 4 supervisors. We have 15 bodies there and 9 empty bodies. We need to fill some bodies.
So if you take a dispatcher who's making $38,000 for us, and then you say, well, you can go to Berkeley County and make $46,000, that's $8,000 is a lot of money for someone who's making $38,000. And it pays for a lot of things when you're at that income level. It's critical. And so that's incentive enough for them just to say, we're leaving and we're never coming back. It's a great concern. We've been looking for this, and when Berkeley County went to a 15% raise or 5,000, whichever is greater, and they retroed it back to July 1, which was a real stinger for us. So not only did they get the raise, but they retroed back to the beginning of the fiscal year. So we're really feeling the effects of that.
And once we correct the attrition rates or the attraction problem, the problem that we have attracting candidates, we can then look at funding for new positions. But I think it's going to take some time to fill these because it takes time to train someone. We've got 9 vacant positions right now. We wouldn't even be able to fill 6 of them this year because of the amount of time it takes to train them and get them out on the floor.
No, I mean, there's no way we're gonna fill the entire number of vacancies.
Correct.
I did, on Tuesday night, I went to a function for the Chamber, with the Chamber of Commerce, awarding our first responders, and I had an opportunity to sit with our dispatcher, and they expressed to me their concerns, and how important this was. And I feel we certainly do have to do something. We just can't sit here, sit on our hands, or if it's, you know, we certainly have to have people answering the phones at our 911 center. That's very important.
I've had the opportunity to sit in the 911 center several times and visit the staff. I frequent them over there. And I think I've got my finger on the pulse of what they're feeling. And when I sit in the dispatch center, I couldn't do it. It's a high burnout job. There's a lot going on in there. And, you know, to compound things, you know, we did meet with the chiefs I met with all the fire chiefs last week because we've got this quickest route versus response time. We've now put together a working group and we're going to get through that. But pulling that binder off the shelf in addition to quickest route is hard. And so we're asking more of our dispatchers than your normal dispatcher center would because they're going with quickest route. So there's a lot of demand on those folks. And so there's a lot of burnout. And, you know, I recognize that, and, you know.
And we typically only hire 4 to 6 dispatchers a year, just simply because of the amount of time it takes to train them. We really just need to correct
Well,
the retention and attraction problem.
I do agree with Commissioner Jackson that we need more dispatchers, but I think that the salary increases could be the way to get more dispatchers. And then, how many openings did you say?
We
there
have
were?
9, so this would bring us down to 6 vacancies.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've got a problem. We need to find a way to fix it, and I like this proposal. It's one thing, we're not having to increase the budget in that area. We're reallocating what is currently in that budget with a savings of 26,000. So I'm going to start with first motion in this process. And move to approve the promotion of Elizabeth Dudko from an administrative assistant grade 2 to an administrative assistant 2 grade 4 effective 10/24/2022 at a new annual salary of $47,066.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion?
I would just comment, I've seen Ms. Dudko in action, and she's valuable and certainly is worthy of this elevation in her salary.
Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
Motion carries 4-1.
Are you going down the list?
Let's trade off.
All right. A motion to approve the upgrade of dispatchers grade 4 to a grade 5 and a minimum, with a minimum increase for existing employees of a 9.5% supervisor trainers from grade 5 to grade 6, with a minimum increase for existing employees of 7.5% effective 10/24/22 at a cost of $75,250.
I would second it, but I just kind of want to hear what everyone's thoughts are on making it what Berkeley's is.
So are you seconded or are you seconding it for discussion?
Seconded for discussion.
Gotcha. All right.
Okay.
So it's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion?
So if we moved it to be even with Berkeley County,
That would be 46,347.
It would add probably $12,000 to it, and we're already saving 26, so we would still have savings overall.
okay. Are you suggesting we be equal to Berkeley?
Or grade 4.
I would suggest that we be
5, 7.
All right. Okay. I will amend my motion to be equal to the grade rate of Berkeley County, which is a number of
46,347.
46,347.
Will you
Are you
second?
agreeable?
I agree.
You're fine. Is there any more discussion?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Thank you for bringing that up. Because our cost of living is more than Berkeley County, so we should be equal salary, if not a little bit more.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion carries 4-1.
We good.
I'll do number 3.
Yeah, we'll trade off.
We'll switch off unless somebody else wants to make motions. Motion to approve the upgrade of the deputy director position from grade 7 to a grade 8 and to advertise for this vacant position at a grade 8 effective 10/24/2022 at a cost of $9,294.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion carries 4-1.
I'll move to approve the motion to approve a shift differential of 25 cents per hour for evening and midnight shift employees effective 10/24/22 at a total cost of $4,790.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion carries 4-1.
For motion 5, I'd like to add where it says 2 years of service, I need to say 2 years of full-time service.
Okay. Okay, motion to approve a signing bonus of $2,000 to be paid after completion of the initial dispatcher training academy with the stipulation that the employee must complete 2 years of full-time service after completion of the academy or repay the bonus effective 10/24/2022 at a cost of $13,998 and applicable to employees currently in the training academy.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion carries 4-1.
I'll move the next motion to approve the referral bonus of $200 as presented effective 10/24/22 at a cost of $1,400.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion carries 4-1.
Motion to eliminate 3 full-time dispatcher positions from the departmental approved position count at a savings of $135,406.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion carries 4-1.
Thank you.
Thank you. Glad to see this initiative. Be successful.
Thank you, Zach.
So next one, so as you know, Michelle's last day would be next Friday, so I would like to entertain advertising and interviewing for the new finance director position. I'll entertain any discussion.
Yeah, I'd like to propose at least postponing the advertising position. I do believe I've stated this back earlier in the year. We need to reevaluate the job description compared against the audit report and the clerk's duties. So there needs to be a healthy discussion with that to determine if the posting for this position is accurate and if actually we need it. I think we could possibly take a good hard look and consider eliminating this position, possibly hiring someone for the clerk's office and we've got 4 administrators in the county office that could certainly help the county commission navigate budgeting, work with the clerk's office. I think it'd be an opportunity to shift the liability for budget revisions, reporting, financial statements and such to the county clerk's office and also the county commission.
I know there was as far as discussion, whether we can have a financial manager, director working under our umbrella. There was an attorney general's opinion, not too long ago, that says we can. So I would say the fact that that opinion is out there to give us the authority to have a financial director. I do know a lot of your smaller counties in West Virginia, they do not have a financial director, and the clerk does everything in their office. But certainly counties of our size, as well as like Monongalia, Berkeley County, Kanawha, Putnam, all your Harrison, all your big counties, they certainly do have financial directors that works for them. As far as what the county clerk wants to do, I mean, that audit from the state auditor's office came out 7 months ago. We haven't seen a hide hair of our county clerk, what she wants. So, so I don't know why we would pause to hire our county financial director when our budget season is just around the corner. It's my 2 cents.
It's a huge liability to advertise a job where the responsibility might possibly be adjusted. Rather, it's sitting down with the county clerk or potentially ends up in court over the issue. It's a huge liability. The county commission advertises a job and hire for it and skip over candidates who might be qualified if the position is, the responsibilities are less than what we advertise for. I just think it's a liability, and I think we should take a hard look at it and get it right.
I'm not opposed to re-looking at it, but I do think we need someone because I think that it's a very big job. So I don't know about like delegating it to the current staff that we have.
Well, I was suggesting the budget. I just said consider eliminating. We need to take a good hard look at what it would look like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not saying we necessarily eliminate. We need to compare it to the auditor's report and what the clerk's responsibilities are and consider if it is necessary or we need that.
So could we have like a short time? Because I do share Commissioner Stoliper's concern that like budget's coming up. We could kind of like shorten the timeline.
I'm not opposed to a quick review of the position because it's critical that we have a financial director in place with this EMS transition in addition to budget. We've got to be able to keep track of all our moving parts and money and so forth. And, you know, it's just not something you can walk in off the street and know it all in county government.
And if, I'm just proposing that we postpone making a decision on that and take a look at it. Rather that's to the next meeting or whatever. That's all I'm proposing, is that we take a good look at that position, the qualifications that are needed, what we are demanding, and how that plays a part in the county clerk's office.
I'm for reviewing the job description. I'm not for going back and forth with the clerk and the position. I think we need to determine what we need to do this EMS transition and to carry county government moving forward.
I think we can review the position description, but I think we need to advertise.
Yeah.
We don't have to necessarily, we can do those two at the same time, but time is critical. Budget assemblies are coming up.
So I was gonna say it's about time to give directives. like,
Yes,
for more
and
cuts.
you know, we've got to review, and as evidenced by Ms. Gordon's report today, the financial report, you can see how complicated this budget. It's a very complicated budget. There's a lot of state code around all of this, and I'm not opposed to sitting down with the county clerk. In fact, I have her she is on the agenda for the November 3rd meeting. I spoke to her. I would ask her to come to this meeting, but she was busy tonight. So I said, we'll put you on the agenda for November 3rd. So she can come back and ask what she wants, which I have no problem. You know, I told her, I said, you have to present to my bosses. I don't have the authority to mandate moving things around in this position between what you have authority over and what the county clerk has authority. That's the decision that lies with you folks.
And that's all I'm suggesting, John, that we just postpone and take a make sure we get the job posting right and the job description right.
So
If we're going to advertise that.
but I don't think we can wait till November 3rd. I really need to get this job posted quickly.
And the job posting would just be, hey, we're,
Generic job
it's
posting.
just very generic.
Right.
And you don't have to have as many details in there, just maybe the grade, which we already have the grade. That's not going to
Correct.
change.
Minimum qualifications, those types of things. Because we need to start getting this out right away. In the interim, Cindy and I can manage invoices coming in and getting these things paid, but when it comes to summing the budget, that's a skill set that I don't think any of my deputies don't have those skill sets. I mean, Roger has a skill set in engineering, Laura has a skill set in this fleet facilities management. So they have a little bit of a budget lift in their independent departments, but not the skill set to assemble this entire budget, push it forward. And my fear is I don't want to miss a beat. I just don't want to miss a beat. It's very, very important. So we've got a lot of work to do. But in the interim, I will push the job description out to you guys and take a stab at it. I'll take a stab at it and we can kind of see, I'll have Cindy, my HR partner, do that. And we can take a look at that. And we'll come back to you, I guess, on November 3rd, unless you wanted to get together before that.
I mean, if you want to get it advertised, I'm not opposed to a special session, but I just think we need to take a good hard look at it and figure out what we really need and how that plays with the calendar.
I think a special session.
Well, let's get the job description and then we'll just.
So do you want to go ahead and advertise it?
I think we need to go ahead and advertise it so you can start getting candidates lined up. Worst case,
I could
it's
toss
not,
them in the garbage, right?
worst case, they come in, like you said, you could toss them in the garbage. We're not proving to hire anybody, we just approve it to.
I mean, if we take a week to look at this, I don't think we advertise unless it's accurate. I think it's a huge liability.
To who?
People that apply and then you change it.
If we're just doing like a baseline fundamental of what the job is, like you need a bachelor's degree or something, but like we're not saying like Monday to Friday you're working in this office, it's just a generic advertisement.
Yep. And we'll package it up that way. But, time is, when you look at it, by the time we advertise, get the candidates and vet them, and then we go through this job description, we could be into the end of November. And I'm right on the precipice of December, which is a critical month for me. And then, we look at bringing, as a go live date for ESA, which is March 1st, we've got to get with their bookkeeper, we've got to manage all that transfer of funds in, which is millions and millions of dollars. So it's critical that we get this thing moving quickly.
I agree.
I move that we authorize the county administrator to advertise for the finance director position and simultaneously the commission and the county administrator work on the job description.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion?
Yeah, I can't support it until I look at the job description. But anyway, go ahead.
Okay. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-2. Next, I think the holiday potluck. Under.
Oh, yeah, I just something fun. We are doing a potluck, holiday potluck dinner. I'll invite you to the day brochure right now. Everybody come. This is a budget neutral event. I just want to make sure I tell you that. Sarida, our administrative assistant, will be organizing the site. Really wants to come in. It's from all staff. And all departments, so. Want to celebrate? Oh.
There used to be a pancake breakfast, didn't there? And we stopped for COVID.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right, maintenance, they would switch here, this campus would host it and we'd have a luncheon. And then next year, maintenance would do it and they do pancakes and scrambled egg, bacon,
We're going to be
sausage
doing
gravy.
Right.
Well, it's good to bring it back.
Yeah, we'll be doing this over at Bardane at the fleet facility.
Yeah.
Because there's a little bit more room. And the only thing I have left for you is I want to personally thank Michelle for all her work. She's been here for 7 years, and I think we've had 7 years of very good audits.
Yeah.
And that speaks volumes for as a complicated system as we have. And I wish you well in your endeavors with Washington County. I think it's a huge job, and I think they have a budget of $250 million. So the staff of 13, so you got your work cut out for you. I want to thank you personally from me. It's been wonderful to work with you. I've learned a lot, and I'll be calling you a lot. Sure.
Change your number.
Put you on speed dial. Thank you, Michelle. That's all I have, and thank you. It's amazing.
Hey, Nathan, I got,
Very well. Under, I have 2 items that I would address, if that's okay. My item number 7C and 7D.
7C and what?
7D.
Oh, okay.
So the first one, 7C, was report as assigned to council on the Jefferson County School Board impact fees. I was assigned at the last meeting to review the impact fee issue for the school board. I began to review the issue. I determined that this question might directly impact school funding, which is obviously a significant issue for the school board. I concluded that this issue placed the commission and the school board in opposing positions potentially. And then that brought me to the statute that empowers the prosecuting attorney to represent me, which says, in part, the prosecuting attorney shall also attend to civil suits in the county in which the state or any department, commission, or board thereof is interested, and to advise, attend, to bring, prosecute, or defend as the case may be, all matters, actions, suits, and proceedings in which such county, that's you all, is interested, except it says more than that. It says in which such county or any county board of education is interested. And so the statute itself, the same statutory provision, the same sentence that directs the prosecutor to represent the county commission also directs the prosecutor to represent the school board. Now, the school board has often chosen to hire their own counsel. As of this past year, though, they have used us for some issues, particularly related to FOIA issues. So since we are now actively representing the school board and actively representing the county commission, I have to say that I believe that we have a conflict if we're talking about funds that may or may not be taken away from the school board. So I have to bow. And since, could I also say, in some situations, since if I'm conflicted out, the prosecutor may be still able to handle the issue. But the prosecutor is really the one that the statute directs to represent both the commission and the school board. And therefore, since the prosecutor himself is conflicted out, all of us assistant prosecutors are also conflicted out.
Wasn't the issue of funds that had already been collected and sitting in the impact fee account for the school?
Yeah.
And they just wanted to reallocate that disbursement or to be able to.
yeah,
I think this is what the school board requested is entirely reasonable. I'm very disappointed in hearing of this approach by our legal counsel, and I understand where it may be coming from the letter of the law.
If you're going to discuss this, I'm going to.
sorry.
I'm not discussing, I'm just making a statement. You know, these fees are collected, it's been done, all been done legally, and as you know, construction costs have changed. And I think the school board is well within their authority to request us to approve what they want to do with the impact fees collected for the school board.
You are exactly right, and I could probably clear a lot of this up.
Okay.
I was approached by a school board member, and they basically asked, they were essentially lobbying me to begin collecting impact fees again for the school board. In our discussion, they said that I mentioned to them that we could not legally collect impact fees while we have a declining balance, declining enrollment, because we're essentially would be collecting an impact fee when there's basically zero impact. And you go onto the state Board of Education's website, we have had a declining balance. Actually, I keep saying declining enrollment since 2017 for the last 7 years, 6 years, excuse me. So basically, the next day, we were here at the meeting and this came up. Essentially, if that statement was from the Board of Education member said we can collect the fees, but we can't disperse them. I did reach out to them and they can't, I asked them to try to find that code section and it doesn't exist. So I tabled it until we could do some more research. So, and it does not exist. It was some bad information that was passed on to us. And I think we should prove it, like you said.
Okay.
And I did go back and look at the old, I had the old meeting minute or the meeting up agenda from the last meeting. And I'll just go ahead and move the motion.
It's, I don't think we're actually allowed to vote on it.
We're not allowed to
The
vote?
way it's written. No,
Okay.
because it's just a
You have
report.
to put it on the next, but I was under the impression it was just an allotment
It's-
of
we have
money
to actually-
already collected and setting, so, yeah.
We have to make it the agenda item. and vote on it.
For next.
Can we put it on the next
We'll put it
agenda?
on the next agenda item. Okay, that's fair enough. All right.
No, we,
Nathan can come back.
okay.
Very well. Commissioners, my next item is item number D, which is a report by council on the opioid issues. Council was unable to appear personally, and he would appear by phone. But because of the nature of this being litigation, he's going to provide you with some legal advice, and I would recommend that we go into executive session.
I move to go into executive session to receive legal advice for 7D under Nathan Cochran, Assistant Prosecuting Attorney's agenda item.
Is there a second? So moving second, is there more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? But we're in executive session.
I said, I'm used to it.
All right, thank you. I move we come back into regular session.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? We're back in regular session.
I move to approve, to authorize our chairman to assign the settlement documents in opioid litigation that was presented to the commission by council tonight.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Is there anything else to come before the commission this evening? All right, hearing none, and if there's no objection, we're.
Thank you.
We got other meeting in record time too.
I could take that out. I mean, there's no